On this historical total solar eclipse day, April 8th, 2024. I'm Vincennes PBS Director of Operations and General Manager Nicole Carey. We've got our team spread out in different locations here in Vincennes today to help capture this historical moment. Since Vincennes sits directly in the path of totality, planning for this monumental moment has been underway for more than a year. And here we are. Today is the day, Eclipse Day. We're glad you're joining us live, whether you're tuning in to Vincennes PBS on TV or online, or listening along through Blazer 91.1 WVUB. Or perhaps you're rewatching this special report at a later time because you took the eclipse in firsthand. That's good. No matter when you join us, we're glad you're here. During this time leading up to totality of the eclipse, we'll take you through some of the many great community events that were held over this past weekend and earlier today in our local area. And of course, we'll take live looks outside where all the action is right now, watching the approaching phases of the eclipse as well as the atmosphere as folks prepare to take in totality. The eclipse officially started in our area at approximately 1:46 p.m. and we're seeing signs of it as that moon is crossing in front of the sun. And we're ready to help you see it, whether you're stuck inside or again, watching this back later. As you can see, we have multiple cameras in different locations on the VU campus, as well as some footage from downtown. One of our live looks is focused on a scientific study that is being conducted on the Vincennes University campus. Just outside of Updike Hall, the Dynamic Eclipse Broadcast, or DEB initiative, has equipment hooked up studying the sun's corona during the eclipse. When we do show you that feed, you'll notice it's actually upside down from the live look we will show you, or if you're outside and have seen it, the DEB initiative is upside down. And as you can see, that's their monitor there as they are preparing for totality as we speak. Very fascinating. We'll find out more about their study in just a bit. Now we'll go to the roof of Davis Hall where our studios are housed on the Vincennes University campus. Our engineer Dave Novak is up there with two cameras. One of the cameras is of course focused on the sun while we are approaching totality. You can see it there. I would say that's one of the best views in town. And if we take a look at the other camera, you can see we are capturing the view across campus towards the river in downtown. And just outside of Davis Hall, safely on the ground, we have engineer and radio host Andy Morrison, along with Rebecca Clark and Dane Foley. They're counting down with us. How's it going outside, Andy?
Hey, thank you very much, Nicole. We are indeed right outside of Davis Hall on the campus of Vincennes University. We've been outside now for, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and we are already starting to experience the totality. The breeze has kicked up a little bit, and the temperature's probably dropped 3 or 4 degrees since we have been out here already. It was not only just today with the eclipse, it was actually an entire weekend around the area. I'm here with Rebecca Clark and Dane Foley. And Rebecca, I know that you experienced some of the events in downtown Vincennes.
We did. My family and I, we went down to the Dark Side of the Wabash Bash, downtown Vincennes, happening right now. And on Sunday, there was an Inferno Velocity show that we got to see. Of course, Vincennes PBS, a part of the Kids Zone, with photo opportunities with Luna. All the local shops were open with extended hours, greeting guests and new shoppers. And there were local artisans set up with custom eclipse merchandise and some of their other wares that they had to sell. And in the Riverfront Pavilion, several local organizations were selling food to benefit their cause to feed all the hungry visitors.
Very good. And Dane Foley, I know that you took in some of the live music.
I did. It was a great weekend for all the live bands in our area. It was almost like the band shell bash, but spread out over 3 days. You know, I for one started off with Just for One on Friday, and ACG played Saturday. They kicked things off downtown. Because of weather yesterday, they did have to move things up to Highland Woods, but it's still, a lot of people still showed up last night. It's been a great weekend for local bands and local businesses all over our area.
Well, very good. We are experiencing Totality just outside of Davis Hall on the campus of Vincennes University. And I'm going to go grab my safety glasses and take another look at the sun. Make sure you've got the safety glasses. You can't not have those on at this point. But we are getting closer and closer to experiencing Totality. We'll kick it back to Nicole in the studio.
All right. Yes, that's right. You definitely want to make sure if you're looking at the sun right now that you have those safety glasses on. At the point of totality, that's when you can take them off. Well, after the rain that came last night and the foggy start to the morning today, the weather is now prime for eclipse viewing. Many local folks have been wondering if we did indeed have out-of-town visitors. Well, look no further than the grounds of the George Rogers Clark National Historical Park. News Director Dave Foster and digital content producer Nicole Cardano-Hillary have been down at the memorial and have spoken to many visitors from far and wide.
Why did you choose Vincennes to come see?
Sure. Well, in part because it should be pretty cloud-free later this afternoon. And then second part is we have this nice memorial here, which should make for a nice landscape shot. I got two today, both full frame. This one's at 800 millimeters, taking close-up photos. And then I have this one at 15 millimeters, doing some wide angle, hoping to get a time lapse with the memorial in it. Oh, it's a beautiful town. This river is pretty sweet. I'm excited to explore a little more this afternoon as well.
We drove around 6.5 hours, I think, left this morning. And so I'm really excited. So far, we saw some really unique places on the main road here that I'm really excited to look into. Everybody's been really kind so far, and the porta potties are great.
I'm here with my club, the National Park Travelers Club. We're a nationwide club, but we have about 35 members here today to see the solar totality at Vincennes. We love being at the parks. That's why we chose George Rogers Clark Park to be at, and we're thankful for this beautiful day. We love the city. It's beautiful.
This will be my second time viewing the eclipse, and what I'm most excited about is that I have a professional camera for the first time because last time when I was 13 years old, I was just living in a moment, but this time I want to take a different approach. I really want to document it and get pictures of it and just get most of what I can.
We drove down south from Midway in Chicago, and I am excited to see a rare celestial event.
Me and my grandsons took off from home about 5 o'clock this morning and came to Vincennes, and it is beautiful. It's great. Everyone's friendly. I love it.
Came in to Vincennes to enjoy this beautiful eclipse. This weather that you're having is so gorgeous. Really enjoying being in this really nice city, and we're just so hopeful for a great eclipse today. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate everything that Vincennes has done to welcome us here.
I think we could keep talking to these great visitors all afternoon. I know several of them told our crew they plan on exploring more throughout the day in our community. So if you see somebody when you're out and about you don't recognize, you might strike up a conversation with them. You might be surprised of where they're from. I know everyone downtown is definitely enjoying their prime view at the memorial as we approach totality. Take a look at that. Look right now of our camera from up on Davis Hall's roof. That moon is making its way towards totality. While we wait for the magical 4 minutes of totality, we're going to take some time to share with you some of the events that were hosted over the weekend. But don't worry, as you might have noticed, we're keeping our live shots on screen as well, so you will not miss the changing of the sky as the sun as we near totality. We will be going back to full screen to enjoy the eclipse as it happens, so never fear. But first, Eclipse festivities officially kicked off Friday evening. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
In Vincennes, the winning entry of the Eclipse mural competition was unveiled to signal the start of the weekend's festivities. Hannah Swank of Swank & Company was the winning designer. The mural was funded by the mayor's office in the Vincennes City Council. It's located on the backside of City Hall along Church Street. Swank says she aimed to make a comprehensive design for the community.
I really tried to pull in, some of those obvious historical references to the town, but maybe some of the agricultural references too, just to kind of pull the whole piece together to really emphasize the community itself.
Also in downtown Vincennes, the First Friday Art Walk was held along Main Street. The event is held monthly, with this month's event tying in to the upcoming eclipse with related exhibits. Meanwhile, folks in Gibson County kicked off their eclipse celebration with a bang Friday night at the Gibson County Fairgrounds. Fireworks were viewed from the grandstands. In addition to the fireworks, live music, food trucks, a beer garden, and kids' rides were all available. A fair amount of people braved the cooler temps to take part in the festivities.
Well, it's always fun to take in fireworks, but the eclipse might rival that today. Well, it was also a fun time for us here at Vincennes PBS. As Rebecca mentioned earlier, we sponsored the Kids Zone in downtown Vincennes. And yes, our friend Luna from the PBS Kids Show, Let's Go Luna, was the star of the show. Take a look.
You know, the things you do to get just the right shot.
She comes down from the sky and visits her friends.
There you go. So, Cole, come over here.
So let the world lead away.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lena. We're happy. Thank you, yes. Very, very cool. Very cool. Congratulations for having a great day over here, Luna.
What do you say? Yeah.
Come on, this side, Bridgie, or next to your sister? How many fingers am I holding up, Bridgie? How many fingers?
It gets easier over time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's exciting. I really feel like the city's been revitalizing over the past decade, honestly, since I've lived here, and just to see everyone coming out for an event like this is really encouraging. Say bye-bye. See you guys. See you.
We had so much fun getting to meet everyone and share Luna with all of our PBS kids out there, both young and older. Well, we're now about 18 minutes away from Totality. Another fun event held this weekend was the Solar Eclipse Glow 5K. The event was organized by the Rotary Young Leaders of Vincennes, who also host an annual half marathon. Our very own Allison Bowers helped work the event and shares the details with us now.
Good luck.
Saturday evening, the Rotary Young Leaders of Vincennes hosted the Solar Eclipse Glow 5K. Runners and walkers seemed to all enjoy the course, weather, and camaraderie.
It was really exciting. The course was really great. It didn't feel like you were like running even. I don't know. It was very scenic route. It was nice. Good job.
The race, I think, just went as well as it could have. The weather was amazing. We had over 300 participants, and I think just everybody had a great time. We got to hand out a lot of these, and I think we're about to raise over $15,000 to give back to the community.
The Rotary Club did a good job putting it on, so it was great. Tonight was a wonderful turnout. We were not expecting the number that we had, and everybody showed up and was in really great spirits. The energy on the course was palpable. I think people were having a really good time. I have to say my favorite part running it was coming up on the river walk, the sunset shining onto the Wabash River. It was like getting me a little choked up that we're here in Vincennes, Indiana, historic town, this historic event happening. Really proud to be part of the group that puts this on, and I think it was a success.
For Vincennes PBS, I'm Allison Bowers.
The more than 300 runners and walkers who took part in the Glow 5K also included folks from at least 14 other states. Such a great event. The young Rotary leaders are also taking registrations right now for their Vincennes Historical Half Marathon, which will be held on Saturday, September 15th. Be sure to sign up or at least mark your calendars to come out and support it. And who knows, we may be getting some of those folks back from the other states. We'll go back outside right now of Davis Hall to check back in with Andy Morrison and the gang. Are we getting excited, Andy?
Thank you very much, Nicole. We are indeed experiencing Totality. We are just outside of Davis Hall on 2nd Street in Vincennes. And in the last 10 minutes or so, things have really started to change. The quality of the light is quite a bit different. The breeze has cooled off quite a bit. I'd say we have probably lost 5 or 6 degrees just in the last few minutes. And Rebecca has a list of some things, other things that you might be looking for as we start to experience Totality.
Yes, we do want to mention that today's eclipse is covering 15 states in the path to totality. And if you're wondering, is this a once-in-a-lifetime event? It is for us here. The next total solar eclipse over the continental U.S. will be on August 23rd of 2044, and that one will be visible only in Montana and North Dakota. And Andy was telling Dana and I in the studio earlier that he was able to connect with some ham radio operators last night, and they were talking about shadow bands. Tell us about shadow bands.
Well, shadow bands, as I understand it, is as the sunlight comes through the atmosphere of the Earth, you see bands that will run across the ground. In fact, we're starting to see some of the circles in the trees. You can't see it on the camera, but the shadows and things are starting to look quite a bit different as well. Dane, anything to add?
I just want to reiterate the importance of the glasses. As a guy who struggles with his eyesight as is,
Right.
You got to make sure you wear your glasses, and it makes it. I mean, I haven't looked at it. I hope you haven't either. But you can tell when you use your glasses that the eclipse is happening right now as we're talking. It's very cool to see. I hope everybody has a pair of glasses and gets to see it. But they're so important. Make sure you wear your glasses.
Indeed. And with that, we will continue to experience Totality. We'll kick it back here to Nicole from outside of Davis Hall.
All right, thanks, Andy. You can look at the shot right here outside of Updike Hall on the Vincennes University campus, where the DEB initiative is set up. That is the scientific study we mentioned earlier in our program. Let's find out now how the DEB initiative is making most of today's solar eclipse in order to learn more about the sun.
The DEB initiative is a lot of things, but I think at its heart, it's a research project. To become a really good scientist, it's important to first start doing research as soon as you can on whatever it is that you like. I think that's really important. The DEB initiative is a collection of 75 telescopes set up from Mexico to Canada. And what we're doing is collecting data during totality of the corona of the sun. So the data we're gathering is of the corona of the sun. And what we're hoping to do is sort of map together images that we get from other sites like Soho and SDO, and we're hoping to be able to fill in those gaps of those really short cadences of the corona of the sun. So one of the things that I learned is to be prepared, even with the smallest of things. If you want to take a video, kind of plan that out. Great interest here in Vincennes, a lot of interest coming from other areas and people here locally. Most interest in the science of eclipses and just kind of the experience that happens when a total eclipse occurs. All you got to have is interest and desire.
And as you can see in our live look, that study is now underway outside of Updike Hall. The team is ready to view and record the total eclipse and will be documenting their findings. Totality is now about 11 minutes away. So it's pretty cool that we get to be a part of history with the eclipse going on right now and science. A lot of important studies that are going on right now in our area. Well, with all the visitors in town for many events this weekend, it was also the perfect time to reveal a special project we've been telling you about. Sunday afternoon witnessed the soft opening of Vincennes' newest park, which has been organized by the Wabash Valley Progressives. Menotaney Park pays tribute to the native tribes who once called this land home. And if you've been following along with our coverage of the effort, getting the park to where it is today has taken a great collaboration to make sure everything is accurate and respectful, including the park's name.
The idea came about of wanting to do a park that featured or was about the indigenous people that lived here before, because there's a lot of history in the town, but mostly, you know, of Harrison, of George Rogers Clark, and we saw that there was a need, or there was a hole in some of that interpretation about the indigenous culture that lived here. And so we kind of brainstormed like how this would happen. Would it be this, like an existing site, creating a new park? And we were talking to the Mayor Yoakum, about it, and he suggested this site as a possibility to enhance and put a park on.
I think that this park has a really good opportunity to be a place of connection and learning about the people who have lived here in the past and their descendants who are still today. This place was a Piankashaw village. That was a Miami village, and their descendants live amongst the Miami and the Pewalia, the Peoria today.
We wanted to figure out how to do the interpretation, because most of us knew a little bit but didn't know a lot, and we wanted this to be a project where we helped told a tribe story. Like, we didn't just try to tell it, but we wanted to collaborate and work with the people that we wanted to represent. So we went through some iterations of working with different partners, and we're very lucky to be working with the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma and Peoria Tribe of Oklahoma, who were both, we were glad to have here today at this event. And they've helped us with both naming the park, as well as we've been working on kind of adding, telling their language and interpretive elements for the park as well.
While the park reveal is essentially the opening of the park, organizers are not done yet. Work will continue through the spring and summer to plant more native species, as well as more trees in the woodland area of the park. This also includes installation of walking paths throughout the park and prairie, special playground equipment, and even a structure that will represent a native dwelling. The goal is to have all of this complete by August. As you can see from that live look outside, it's getting dark outside. Well, the constantly changing forecast over the weekend and the back and forth cloud forecast for today definitely played a part in the number of visitors in our area for the eclipse. The past year, community organizers have been trying to plan for an influx of visitors to our point of totality for the eclipse. Knox County Emergency Management Agency Director John Streeter told me this morning that so far there aren't many communities that are experiencing that large influx of visitors. He says all the planning followed the trend set in the 2017 total eclipse, but so far it looks like numbers just aren't comparing to that previous event. Nonetheless, we know, as we showed you earlier, there are a number of out-of-town and out-of-state visitors here for the eclipse. And as far as the back and forth weather we've experienced, the only major reactionary change in plans was the decision to move the live bands from Patrick Henry Square to Highland Woods for Sunday, as the high probability of storms was made clear.
You got to make that call early to move the equipment and to get the word out in the first place. And we had a few pop-up thunderstorms, so we shut things down on a small scale. But earlier in the day, we went ahead and made the call to move the music from here out to Highland Woods Community Center. And it was the right call to make because of the amount of rain that we had last night. And it wasn't just the rain that was a concern, truly. During the day, it was really, really windy. And musicians and sound guys can't battle that all day and have a good show. So better to err on the side of a better quality show that might be smaller than a much bigger thing that puts more people at risk. There was a significant amount of lightning last night, even well before the storm actually rolled in, and lightning is not great when you've got that much metal up there on a hill. I'm encouraged. I'm seeing lots of out-of-town, out-of-state license plates, seeing lots of vehicles that we've never seen before, lots of big RVs and camper vans. I think we're seeing a lot of activity. I think we're going to have a great crowd today. It's been really positive. We've had a lot of out-of-town people saying, your town is so cute. We love it. It's adorable. You guys are doing a great job. Everybody has said that we're really friendly and welcoming, and that's really what counts.
Well, as we saw earlier, the downtown area is getting somewhat crowded, and I know it's only grown since we captured those interviews earlier today. Let's take a look now outside as we are getting closer to Totality.
There's kind of a line, like you can almost see the outline of the sun versus the sun itself. Easy look going. There, I'm sure it'd make a good time lapse to kind of watch the darkness.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think, gosh, I may have left auto white balance on. I wish I didn't.
To see the color change.
Yeah, that's.
A couple thousand.
Just look at that shot. We are so close to Totality now. We've got about 2 minutes and some change. As we do near, let's go back outside real quick to Andy Morrison to see what it looks like out with them on the ground next to Davis Hall.
Thank you, Nicole. We are experiencing Totality, and I don't know how much you can tell in the camera, but it is very eerie and very odd looking outside of Davis Hall. And the neat thing, the street lights just came on up and down 2nd Street. So we are about 4 minutes away from Totality here in the city of Vincennes. One of the things that I'm looking forward to are called Bailey's beads. And it's an interesting effect that happens before and after a solar eclipse, just before the moon completely covers the sun. some beads of sunlight are still available, still visible as it goes through the sun's atmosphere. So we're just a couple of minutes away from that. And Rebecca, it's getting very dark out here.
It is, and we're ready. We're prepared for totality.
Yes.
Totality, yes. And here's a fun fact for you, Andy. In 600 million years from now, that's a long time, the moon will move farther away from Earth and it will appear smaller in the sky. Because of that, there will be no more total solar eclipses. Look at the shadows on our clipboard here. That's one thing we've noticed too. The shadows look like crescents as we approach totality.
It is very odd looking out here. And Dane, what would you like to add?
Just kind of add to what you're saying. It's really odd out. The birds are starting to act up a little bit. I think they're freaking out a little bit. The temperature has dropped significantly since we first got out here. It's really cool to experience this, and I hope everybody gets their chance to experience it as well.
All right, we are going to experience totality. We'll kick it back to Nicole in the studio.
Okay, so we are now in those final minutes leading up to the point of totality, just about a minute away for the start of totality. So we're going to allow the images to speak for themselves now. Totality should last until about 3:06 p.m. We'll come back on screen to give some last comments once totality is complete. So enjoy this long-awaited moment in time. What an amazing solar eclipse, total solar eclipse that we get to witness together. Hopefully you're gathered with family and friends. We're with our broadcasting family here, but that was pretty cool. We were all able to run outside and take a look at it. There you can see outside of Updike where the Deb Initiative is going on. But you can see as it's starting to get a little lighter outside, you see their feed right there. Hopefully they were able to capture everything they were wanting to during that total eclipse. Hopefully you were able to see, now I wasn't out there the whole time, but I know there was at least one of those diamond effects that they talked about. I know there was a chance that we would have two, so I'll have to review the findings and the footage later on to see if we did get to witness two of those diamond rings. But pretty cool experience to witness here in Vincennes, Indiana. The oldest city in Indiana, or the first city, of course. And it's pretty cool, the visitors that we have had, but at least for the local community to get to witness this firsthand. Definitely a once-in-a-lifetime chance. It was pretty cool to see. Even with the street lights on down 2nd Street here at VU, it was still just an amazing thing to witness. As you can see, the moon is continuing its course. The sun's peeking right back out. Let's go back down to Andy Morrison and Rebecca Clark and Dane Foley as they're outside. Tell us what you think, guys. How was it for you?
Thank you very much, Nicole. Experiencing totality. All I can say is wow. That doesn't even begin to express my emotions about it. It was just simply amazing. I didn't really know what to expect, having not been in any kind of an eclipse before of that magnitude. And when it went across, it's like they shut the lights out, and then there it was, just as you see it in the pictures. So I'm absolutely blown away by the total eclipse of the sun. Rebecca?
Hey, thanks, Andy. It was amazing to behold. I checked in with my family, and they said it was insane and amazing, and my great niece asked if it was bedtime. So just unbelievable. It was perfectly silent still, no breeze, felt very cool, and it really did feel like nighttime in the middle of the day. I'm so glad we got to experience it together here on our Vincennes PBS coverage.
Thank you very much. One thing before I give it back to Dane, the 360-degree sunset was something I'll remember as well.
My favorite part of it was Andy just constantly saying, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is the absolute coolest thing I've ever seen in my life."
It is.
And it is.
It really is.
It's one of those things where, I was excited about having this opportunity to get to see this, but also in the back of my mind, I'm kind of the guy that's like, I've seen eclipses before. Oh, this is just completely different. This is nothing like anything I'd ever seen before. We've had eclipses in these areas. No totality eclipses like this. Nothing like this. This was absolutely amazing. It's something I'm glad I got to experience in my lifetime, and I'll never forget it.
Indeed, indeed. I can see why people chase these. It really was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And with that, we'll kick it back to Nicole in the studio.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the total solar eclipse of 2024. The last phases of the eclipse, now that we are past totality, will continue until about 4:20 p.m. So we will keep documenting this on our live stream on vincennes.pbs.org and wvub.org. I think I can speak for most that seeing this natural wonder was definitely an amazing feat to witness. If you've been listening along with us on the Blazer 91.1 WVUB, you can stay tuned for traffic updates, as we know we do have visitors in town. We'll pass along any updates as needed, and we'll try to pass along any pertinent information as well. And of course, we will have more updates online on our Facebook pages and this evening on our news break right here on Vincennes PBS. If you're just joining us, you will be able to rewatch this program later online through vincennes.pbs.org. I want to thank our amazing team here at Vincennes University Broadcasting. It's often we are working when the university is closed because we are media stations and we're here to serve the community. And today was no different. So I really want to thank them for taking time that we were working together to be able to document and bring this to those who weren't able to see it firsthand. And that includes online. I know we have lots of family members who have moved out of the area, or people just want to know what did it look like in Vincennes. So we were more than happy to bring that to you. It's definitely been a once-in-a-lifetime broadcast for all of us, And everyone here has worked hard for days and even weeks to make this program possible. It's been especially busy for the last several days, but so worth it so we can be able to serve our community. On behalf of our whole amazing team here at Vincennes PBS and Blazer 91.1 WVUB, I'm Nicole Carey. Thank you for watching 2024 Total Solar Eclipse with us. We'll see you again soon.
Experiencing Totality, presented by Vincennes PBS and Blazer 91.1 WVUB. Experiencing Totality is supported in part by Duke Energy, powering the lives of its customers and communities. Online at dukeenergy.com.